I'll never forget that. And said I did it. And she thought something was wrong until she could tell the excitement in my voice. I said I killed the largest deer I've ever shot. This episode of Working Class Hunter is brought to you by River's Edge Tree Stands.
Iowa. For most of us out here that are hunters, that means something special. You've got to put a draw in. It's a $1 state. There's just a lot of great things about Iowa. Well, Cliff was able to get a tag to go hunt Iowa. And so we had put some plans together. I said, hey, I don't really live that far from Iowa, so I'm going to come be your cameraman. Typically, we're self-filmers, but something like this was special. I said, hey, let's do this together. And so we had put some plans together. We traveled up there. Cliff flew in here, and we drove up to the place. It's about, 3 hours or so away from where I live, up in Iowa, and we scouted some property. We were looking for properties, and somebody I knew actually had access to about 1,000 acres, and we thought we were in the money. And so it was literally around the town that we were looking for. And so as we start to really prepare for it, it hits me and we realize there's a road that goes north and south that splits the zones. And only one of these multiple farms was actually a farm that we could hunt because of the zone. So that was challenge number one. Challenge number two, as we got down to it, we went ahead and set up that farm and we're like, we can make this work. Challenge number two, literally within the week of going, I got COVID, and I got COVID bad. I was down for the count. There was no chance that I was going to be able to travel with Cliff. So, we had this expectation. All of a sudden that changed in an instant. And Cliff had to scramble and headed up there. Luckily, Cliff had somebody as an acquaintance that said, hey, I've got some property that maybe you could hunt on as well. So he actually was able to gain some access to some properties that we didn't know we were going to have, which played out perfectly for him. So anyway, Cliff heads up to Iowa alone, by himself. Again, he was expecting to have a cameraman, but we're used to self-filming. Obviously, it's Iowa. It's a late season gun. It's pretty cold out. It's just hard hunting. And Cliff worked his butt off for the first 2 or 3 days. But the challenges, the stresses, the frustration, they just kind of got to him. And, he started to question what he was there for, why he was hunting, why he was filming it all. And it just got too much for him. And so he quit. He stopped filming. And so this episode here is really going to be more about emotional intelligence and understanding ourselves and the things that put pressure on us, and then really like turning the corner and kind of reinvigorating ourselves and understanding like, hey, we love doing this. It's something we enjoy. Don't put the pressure on ourselves so hard. And, that's kind of helped reignite Cliff's passion. So let's get into it and let's see how Iowa goes.
Let's talk about Iowa. Iowa's one of those states that we dream about. You know, as a kid growing up, you see all of these other people hunting Iowa, and you see the caliber of deer that's coming from Iowa. It's been a dream to draw an Iowa tag. The excitement that you get when you draw a tag in Iowa is something that until you experience it, you'll never know. Leading up to getting drawed, a ton of prep work's got to go into it. You got to find a farm, you've got to get tree stands gathered up, you've got to get your cell phone cameras out, get them going. But doing that prep work, there's a lot to it, and people don't understand. You just can't just throw your stuff in a truck on a place you've never been to or have any access to and just go. This segment of Working Class Hunter is brought to you by Redmond Hunt. And we're going to hang some sticks on a potential tree stand, trim some lanes so when we come back in December we don't have to do that. I got Steven, son, he's wearing it out. But for me it's a once in a lifetime deer tag draw to be able to do this, so I'll be back up here for the first gun season. It's not a bow tag, which I'm completely happy with. It doesn't matter to me. Just getting the tag is what I needed. So we're gonna check some scrapes. We found a bunch of scrapes on this farm. I mean, rubs, scrapes. I mean, the action's starting to heat up. I know it's like 40 some days before we come back, so we're gonna get started. We had a game plan. Then we had a curveball. I didn't know what we was gonna do. The farm that I originally had access to wasn't available anymore. So Steven reached out to one of his co-workers whose parents had a bunch of farm ground, and we got access. We was on cloud nine. We got like 1,000 acres. We got to looking at the map, and out of the 1,000 acres that he had, we had access to, the way the zones in Iowa broke up, we had one farm that was in zone 5. Everything else was in zone 6, which I didn't have a tag for. Then we had a curveball. Steven gets deathly ill with the China virus. I mean, it put him down. We're leaving that week. And I get a call from his wife and says, Steven is deathly sick. He has missed work for the last 4 or 5 days. Don't know if he's gonna be able to make it. So I'm bummed. You know, I hate it for my friend that's become a real close friend to me. And to see him sick, you know, the filming part, yeah, that's one of it, but I don't want to see him sick. So the hunt finally comes up, and I travel from East Tennessee to Southeast Iowa. As I'm traveling, I get a phone call from a friend of mine that says, hey, none of my guys drew an Iowa tag. I have this one farm that nobody's hunted. If you need a place to hunt, it's yours if you want to hunt it. So day one of the hunt, I'm excited. I got a brand new farm, not knowing what may show up. So I get gathered up, make the first set. The excitement is there, but it's starting to creep in the back of my mind. My buddy Steven is not with me, and it's starting to take a toll on me a little bit on the emotions. So I'm constantly checking on Steven just to make sure he's okay. My wife is communicating with me, you know, how's things going? I said, it's great so far. I just hate that Steven's not here. You know, when you're in deer camp and you're there to share the same passion that you have, but now you're there by yourself. And that started to hit hard with me. As I was walking in, got to the top of the hill and looked down in that bottom, and I seen one of the white flash cameras go off, and I was thinking, well, crap. I was like, maybe it's just a raccoon. Well, I pulled my big flashlight out, shined it down in there, and sure enough, it was 4 deer. It looked like they was wanting to come up the hill the way I was going down. So I turned the light off. I said, well, I'll see if they'll ease on into the woods and I'll go on down in that bottom. Seemed like I waited for an eternity. And it was like 5 or 10 minutes. Shined the light back one more time. They was getting closer. So instead of just blowing those deer out, I opted to turn around, go get in the shooting house. And sure enough, made it up there to me before daylight. And regardless if those deer are down there in the morning, I'm going to try to leave earlier. I'm going to go ahead and push through and go ahead and get in that bottom. And hopefully I'm in there early enough that if I do bust something out of there, then it, they come back through. So we'll see what tomorrow morning brings. And if I don't make it happen tomorrow morning, we're going to change things up a little bit and go back old school. So I completely overslept, slept completely through my alarm, dead to the world. My wife calls me at 7:30 this morning because I hadn't texted her or checked in or anything like that, just worried. And it was 7:30 when she woke me up. By the time I climbed up in the stand and got situated, I had deer movement all afternoon. Ended up seeing about 7 different bucks. Laid eyes on what seemed to be a dandy of a deer. But it was so thick on the other side of that creek, I just couldn't really get a good look at him through the binos. And I start to really go through some emotions of, I'm just not having fun. I'm carrying all this camera equipment. I'm doing all this extra work, but I'm missing the whole point of why I'm doing what I'm doing. So I was like, everything's good. I ended up talking with Steven. He said, man, everything will be all right. Just keep at it, keep doing it. You'll be all right. I may not ever get to draw this tag again. I want to enjoy this hunt. And the next morning, I left everything back at the hotel. I just said, I'm taking the gun and I'm taking myself and I'm going to get back to having fun hunting again. I climbed up in the tree and it just felt really weird and odd that for the first time in over 5 years, I didn't have a camera in tow. But I wanted to get back to the basics of having fun, of enjoying the hunt, enjoying God's creation. So I texted my wife and I told her what was going on. I texted Steven and he understood. But also he knew that we've got a show to produce. I was just like, I'm just not having fun, man. It's taking a toll on me. Day 4 in Iowa changed my life for the good. Did I pick the right stand? Did I pick the right spot? Should I be on top? All those things run through your mind. And all of a sudden I started seeing some movement down in the dry creek bottom. And I just happened to catch movement back up into that creek bottom. And I looked and I looked and I took the binos and looked. And I was like, oh, looks like there's 4 or 5 more deer coming this way. So some does come, a fawn, a spike, another 4-pointer. And they was 10 yards from the stand. Luckily, I was 30 feet in the air in one of Rick's homemade ladder stands, which was pretty cool to be able to sit in one of those old stands. And I happened to catch another movement back up in the creek bottom, and I looked, and I could tell that it was a big-bodied deer. So they eased on past. Spike come on past. There's 4-pointers down in the creek to my left, and he's sitting there looking. He's looking back up in the creek. I was like, okay, there's another deer coming. where's that big body deer? And I'm looking. All of a sudden, it steps up out of that dry creek bank up onto the flat ground. And I knew immediately that was the shooter I was after. That was the deer that I'd come to Iowa for. This is what it's all about. I'm sitting here enjoying God's creation, but also I don't have nothing else to worry about. It's just me and Mother Nature. And I'm shaking. I mean, literally shaking. I thought I was going to shake out of the tree. So I'm trying to get ready. And when this deer steps directly to right, basically in front of me, he's 15 yards. Like I have that gun sighted in at 200 yards. So I have to constantly remind myself to say, gotta shoot low, aim low, aim low. And I'm shaking, and it's all a blur looking back. And I aimed right behind the shoulder, low, like I wanted to, and squeezed it off. And he jumped, and I thought I missed. No way that I just shot that deer and missed him. So I am scrambling, trying to reload another shell. I'm watching the deer. He's out there 20, 30 yards. And I'm getting ready to take a second follow-up shot. And all of a sudden he starts to stagger. And I knew I'd killed him. He hit the ground and the emotions absolutely flooded. I'll never forget that. It said I did it. And she thought something was wrong until she could tell the excitement in my voice. I said I killed the largest deer I've ever shot. And I said, I gotta call Stephen. So I called Stephen and let him know. And he's super ecstatic. At that point, the camera wasn't even a thought, knowing that I just shot the largest deer I've ever killed. And to be able to call my wife and to call Stephen to celebrate with me is something I'll never forget. Once my emotions come down and I climbed down out of the tree and I went over and grabbed him, the regret of not having it on camera hit me like a ton of bricks. I said, those memories I'll have forever, but I'll never have that video footage to re-watch with my kids to show them that raw emotion that I had. And as I'm sitting there, standing over that deer, I said, as long as I do this, I'll always bring a camera with me so I can relive these moments with my friends and my family. And this just goes to show you that we're all human. None of us is perfect. And from that day forward, I've made sure my camera's been with me. And I've added a few things. You know, Stephen jokes with me that, you know, he's like, man, you just carry too much stuff. I was like, I never know what I may need, but I want to make sure I have it in case I need it. And from that day forward, I've carried the camera with me, and I've captured some phenomenal moments. You know, my son's first deer, my wife's first turkey, and I'll have those for the rest of our life. Don't quit chasing your dreams. And when times get tough, talk to your buddies, they'll help you. That's what they're there for. The amount of emotional roller coaster that I've been on for the last 5 days is, until you experience, you never know. But to finally punch an Iowa tag, but also regret not getting it on camera, is something that'll live with me for the rest of my life. But that's only made me who I am today. I've gotten stronger and I've gotten better, and I've still made this as fun as it did years ago. So into the future, Working Class Hunter is here to stay. And I'm proud of the team, and I'm proud of the people that we have involved with Working Class Hunter.
If you've already watched the video long enough to this point, you already know I've been successful. So I have been running all day, got up, got pictures taken of him, got him taken to the meat locker. They was able to work me in, get the meat cut up, get him processed so I can get him back home. But I wanted to show you, I got so carried away this morning. I was just enjoying the moment, taking all of it in. My best deer to date. A beautiful, wide, he's a mainframe 5x4 with split brow tines on both sides. I mean, almost identically split.
So even though I didn't capture that moment on film, those memories will last me forever. And if I can tell you one thing, don't never give up. When times get hard, times get tough, reach out to your family, reach out to your friends, because they're there for you, they're supporting you. And I have the best, and I thank them.
You know, this hunt reminds me of a quote. What lies behind us and what lies before us are tiny matters compared to what lies within us. You know, sometimes we get presented a challenge, and it takes that challenge to actually remind us of actually what lies within us. You know, hunting allows us to continue to develop our personal growth. And in this situation, Cliff had challenges. He had frustrations, but he was able to eventually, after time and consideration, overcome those and reinvigorate his energy for being able to provide this wonderful show that we can bring to you. I'm just really happy to be a good friend of Cliff's, proud of him, and I'm just looking forward to where this show is going to go over the next several years. Work hard, hunt harder. Time to get back to work.
Shit. Didn't mean to get emotional, but that flooded and hit me like a ton of bricks, dude. So thank you, Iowa, for a phenomenal year. And one day I promise we'll be back. But this time we'll have cameras in tow.